on the computer, and then I'll officially, you know how I tell everyone.
Right.
So I love. So tell me about this mariachi thing that you have. Like, I love this tapestry that you have on your table. What is it?
Oh no, it's actually just well, it's just a Mexican sarape, a blanket that I
Okay, yeah,
use
yeah. That's what I was like. That's what it kind of
for
looks like.
backdrop. I use it for backdrop because the table underneath is boring and old and
But it looks great. I saw.
I have
So
to
I
have
saw
some
one of your
color.
platters. This was.
Yeah.
Hold on. There was this platter. I'm literally pulling it up. Hold that thought. I was like, Jeanette, my husband passed by and he was like, "What is that? You're gonna cook that tonight?" I was like, "I'm mijo, stop dreaming." I was like, "Stop dreaming." I was like, "That is Sonia's cooking." He was like, "Who's Sonia?" So I told him, and he was like, "Wait, open up her Instagram." And he doesn't like any Instagram, but of course, all of us, he loves food. So he was like,
Right.
"Babe, wait, oh my god, babe, you need to like, you need," and she has the recipes. You need to like go and do some of her recipes. So I'm like, okay. So I had we are doing we're talking about home in this coming season. So I want to make it a little fun. And I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
conversation of food, it's not just a holiday thing. It continues because like right now, here it is. When you did the braised beef tacos,
Yes.
did you take like a beef loin? Is that like or is
Um,
that like, so you know how like in Cuba we make ropa vieja, which is the shredded beef, and I know you make it like your
yeah.
version as well. What is that? How did you do that? I mean, I
Typically
see
I
the
use
recipe obviously on the blog.
chuck roast.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Sometimes I use flank steak because
Okay.
it's very shreddable.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use tri-tip. It depends on what I have. Most of the times it's chuck roast.
Really? And then you just
Yeah.
what, roast it like in a crock pot or you put it in the
No,
oven? Okay.
I have a pressure cooker. I have done the slow cooker version. I've done stovetop version and the pressure cooker because that's what's trending. You know, the instant pot. I don't have an instant pot. I have a traditional pressure cooker,
Right. I know
but
we talked about this.
it's
Okay. All right. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Because I told people that story and they were like, "Oh my God, that's so relatable. Oh my God." So they're like, "You didn't, it's not aired." I'm like, "Dude, I'm going to see Tonya on Tuesday." It's like my little audience of like 30 users, but there's some really interesting people. My
Yeah.
friend Jose Cardenas, he's like, "I want to see this holiday stories thing that you posted 4 weeks ago. I
Oh
want to see
gosh.
that episode." I'm like, "I know, dude." And he's like a big social media guy. I'll send you his link. And we're in the winter season. What are some popular dishes for the season? Um, Especially the one that you just posted. What was it? Oh, yes. The freaking shrimp. What is that? Like a mariscada or like a
Which
paella
one?
stew?
Which one? Last night, yesterday?
Yes.
It's called
The
it is
tasting, the
it's
caldo
called
siete mal.
caldo siete mares. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right now soups.
And
Everybody
soups.
wants
All
soup.
right. So we'll talk about soups. Like, what are the, I ready now? Okay, perfect. So you're for a lot. Tell us a little bit what's next. What's I know that I've sort of a little bit dangled and we touched upon it off the record when we were last talking with Norma, sort of what's next. Is a cookbook in the works? Are you thinking?
Well, it's always in the works. I mean, people are always ask about it. Pretty much on a daily basis, I get asked when am I going to publish a cookbook, but I guess I have to really get serious and write my stories, write my chapters, because
Yeah.
once I have that, it has to be the right and not necessarily the right time. It has to just be the right circumstance for me to say, you know what, okay, this is it. I'm gonna just kind of make it a priority and do it because I get asked daily. I think I really want to start with a salsa cookbook because I've been preparing salsa since probably I
Oh,
was
I
about
like that. So
14,
make it like
14 years old.
you
It's
know
always
what?
been
And that's a niche. Not to interrupt you. I feel like that's a niche, and correct me if I'm wrong. That there's like Mexican a million cuisines, but niche
right.
particular dishes, there's still not
Yeah,
enough.
because there's a lot of techniques on using the chilies and roasting your ingredients. There's a lot of techniques that people don't know about. A
Right.
lot of little tricks and stuff to make quick, tasty salsas that,
And there's so many. Like people
there's
just
so
say salsa
many.
verde or salsa roja, but yeah, but there's
But there's
whatever
so
I
many
do,
combinations and so many
yeah,
dried chilies, so many, just
yeah.
a lot of things they can
And
do.
different ways of using it because like
Mm-hmm.
I've been educated on just a fraction of, I'm sure, what you know and what you've experienced on the different types of salsa. How some, not all salsas are alike, like anything, right?
Yeah, no,
But like some
it's
salsas, you don't use it for dipping, like chips.
right. That's what
You
I,
do not
that's
use it
what I
for
try to eat for your taco, a
right,
little garnish.
right,
You know, it's not supposed to be dipping. Like I said, you can't do it. Some sauces are not made for that.
yeah.
But I mean, you can if you want to, I
A
guess.
salsa 101.
Right,
Like a
right.
salsa 101. Don't worry, I won't coin this. You just gotta give me a copy of the book signed if you decide to use that
Okay,
title.
sounds
Maybe
good.
that extra dish. If you're not like within close proximity of each other.
No, actually what I've been thinking about since doing the interviews on online and stuff is a lot of people are asking me to do online cooking classes. So that's something that I really need to
And we'll get to that.
research to
Yeah.
do because I love teaching, and that's what basically I do daily on Instagram is I teach teach recipes for free. So
Why
why
not get
not get paid for it?
yeah, yeah. So that would be really cool.
Yes.
And we're back, as I always coin the phrase, and we're back by our favorite podcast. But let me tell you, awesome guys. So I love when they always say that. I'm like, I'm gonna take that from them. I don't want to say steal because then you can get sued. And I'll include the link to pero let me tell you, just to make sure we don't get sued. Which and many of you may or not have. We had a whole conversation about content, photos, which sadly I know you and Norma and you more than her, as you guys talked about, which people will see in segment one, episode one of this two-part holiday story chat, guys. That sadly, I know, Sonia, you've been a victim of and continue to be a victim of with people stealing content. So,
Yes.
honey, no pressure, but this is more of a reason to have a book.
Yes. Yeah. It started with just like people would
timestamp that sucker, right?
yeah, yeah. Even when you put your watermark on the pictures, they still manage to take them and kind of crop it out somehow. And anyway, it's just the idea that you spend so much time,
Of course.
um, you know, developing a recipe, styling, all that stuff, and taking the time to take all these pictures and editing, and then they take your best work and call it their own. So sometimes it's with the entire recipe.
No, I know, which for those of you, again, just to reiterate, for those of you who haven't seen segment one, Sonia, I know you talked about that. You've had people take entire recipes and including your language word for word without not even
Mm-hmm.
mentioning that it came from your source,
Right. Mm-hmm.
which is horrible. I mean, I know. Hopefully, I want to say and be optimistic that there will be laws in place and policies to really tighten that up because I'm sure you and thousands of others have gone through this in different times
Right.
of sharing. And I mean, if there's a copyright against, if there's trademark laws against logos and things and names and domains, or there needs to start
Yeah.
being one against
Yeah.
content,
I
right?
mean, if they want to take the recipe and cook it themselves and take their own pictures, it's one thing. But to have these big sites take word for word with the picture and put it on their site, it's kind of like, whoa. It's like I think that's what they do. That's all they do is go from place to place and get recipes and pictures from other places, and that's how they build their sites. But I don't know. It's just like after a while, you're just kind of like, okay, whatever. I'm just moving on to the next
Right,
recipe.
because that takes us so much time and energy.
Yeah, it does take a lot of energy
Creative
to
process.
try to.
Yeah, and then I feel
Yeah.
like it can also, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it also could distract because it's not just a one time or two things. Like even if you take 20, 30 minutes, it's literally hunting down. And
Right.
then it can be a hindering, a little bit of discouraging when you're putting new content, right?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
and you don't want to do that. You don't want to block
Right.
your creativity, what the gift, because I think what you have is a gift. Just like Norma, to just share good recipes. And I say that because I feel like you guys and so many other people that I know, and I think it's applicable to many of us and all of us within our certain crafts. there's a, and I always like the famous James Bond. There's jackets and then there's jackets. You know?
Right.
Yeah, this is something that, yeah, no, it absolutely, it could, you don't want to hinder the jackets, you know? So no, absolutely. So cookbook is a possibility. Published or
Possibility. Online cooking classes.
okay. Online
Possibility.
cooking classes, please. With the pandemic, I don't even know what to cook anymore.
More videos, but I think people want to see me in the videos cooking, and most of my videos are not like that because just, you just can't set up the camera sometimes depending on how the kitchen is laid out. You just can't, and I want the focus to be on the recipe. I don't want people saying, oh, she has nice hair. Oh, look at what she's wearing today.
Even though your hair,
so,
again,
yeah.
bless, it can be a distraction. Like, yeah, the tamales are great, but have you seen her hair? Right.
Oh, no, because they'll be asking me if I don't have my
product?
hair up, they'll be like, why do you have your hair down? You should be having your hair up. And most times I tell people, you don't really see what I look like when I'm actually cooking the recipe, because I share the recipe later. I said, I have my hair up, I have my workout shorts on with my tank top. You have no idea that I'm cooking in my workout clothes. And I'm not, because they just see me like this afterwards. And it's like, do you always dress up to cook? I'm like, no, I cooked like 4 hours ago. This is the way I look now. I said, I'm not going to come on here looking all ragged and like
exactly.
I'm going
my food has to look beautiful. Then I go and then make myself put together.
If I'm going to present you this beautiful plate of food, why am I going to present myself as a, you've seen those people that shop at the department stores.
Yes.
I'm not mentioning what department store, but
yes, we're not. Hint. I'm sure you guys know which ones. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, you see them and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Did they see themselves in the mirror before they came into the store?
I know.
It's like, oh my goodness.
Presumida, but there's dressed down and then there's a whole other level. Like,
well, I always, because people ask me about that all the time. And I said, my mom always taught us that when you leave the house, you need to look your best, no matter what. And if you're staying home, take a shower, get dressed, and be ready for anything. So that's what I do. Every day I get dressed, even if I don't go anywhere, I'm going to put my makeup on. I'm going to fix my hair, because you never know. You never know.
I remember a couple years ago, a very good client of ours, who I worked with for 4 years. Wow. Who's hopefully is going to watch this, I'm sure. If not, I'll definitely tag her. She always said that when she was, she's a very reputable former supermodel. And she told me, I learned in modeling school and from peers that a woman should always dress. And it's a quote from Chanel, as if she's going to meet the love of her life.
Exactly.
And that love of her life could be, whatever. It could be no one. It could
an opportunity for some sort. You never know.
Exactly.
It's like,
and at first I was like, well, that's a little like you should dress. From my point of view, my outlook on that when she first said it was, you should dress for yourself.
I dress for myself because it makes me feel better.
In reality,
it makes me feel better.
You should dress as good as if it was for yourself. I mean, for somebody else, but for yourself.
I dress for myself. I think that just once I'm dressed, I think everything flows better.
Exactly. So then I was like, oh, another one's making a cameo. Say hi, Liam. Hi. Okay, we're not going to talk about that right now. Don't touch it. Again, this is why I specify this is inorganic class. Because in lieu of Zoom, the pandemic, it's very hard for little people or even big people, as you know.
Big people.
Cameo's like, hey, and you're like, I'm recording.
Yes.
So somebody told me that the other day, like, why do you have organic and energetic in capital in the bio of the vlogs link in Instagram? I was like, because I want to emphasize that I will edit, but some just have to let nature take its course.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
obviously you try to be conscious and not it ruin the conversation of the content, but sometimes you just gotta let nature take its course.
Right.
So Sonia, I won't take any more of your time. Before we wrap up. So we talked about
Also letting nature take it.
okay, and we're back again. All right, so we talked about what you did for the holidays with your LA Times recipe, family recipe, which I know for years you thought it was from tradition and it was from your parents trying to adapt to US,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is awesome. We definitely thank you so much for the tips on what masa to use on the bottom of this video, including the LA Times original. Hopefully, if they have it on PDF, do they have it?
I don't know. I have to search for it. I'm
Well,
not
you
sure.
know what? We'll include your
It's got to be
recipe
out there. It's got to be out there.
of the stuffing in the link.
Yeah. I have the recipe on my blog.
Yeah, and so we'll include obviously the link to our blog, but we'll go and include the link to that particular post of the blog of the post on here as well. And everything that we talked about. The link also to your latest to the Siete Mares. So we'll do that and the fresh masa, so some of it. So just food for thought. I think you should totally tell us a little bit more of which products you use, because like me and so many thousands of others, we want to know what you're using, what's next. Love the hopefully cookbook coming in the near future, self-published or not. Guys, you can find La Pina en la Cocina on all social media platforms and include it on here. We have it already in my draft. We'll include it on here. All the social media of where to find Sonia, aka La Pina en la Cocina. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your ingenuity.
Thank you for having me.
God bless the hair. God bless the hair. You need to do a separate blog, a separate Instagram, like I said earlier, on the hair, because if you're going to do a cookbook, we're all going to want to know what products do you use for the hair? How do you keep it from getting all like, dry when you're making tortillas and you're like, people, I don't do it now. But, people like me are going to want to know. So just food for thought. Since we're talking about food, you might want to think about it. It's a whole other screen. The curly hair is the thing, keeping it natural. Because with the pandemic, nobody's going to the salon. And even then, I think we've all learned how to do our own hair. I mean, it's great to have the salon, but it's
yeah,
it's good to be able to do as much as you can yourself. As I know
yes, definitely.
You're an advocate, and you are an example of what that looks like.
Okay.
Again, thank you, Sonia, for your time. Thank you for your artistry. Thank you for your freaking.
Thank you.
And you also need to consider shipping to those of us that are not as.
I know. I have to figure that out.
World, including myself, will want to live next to you.
Yeah. What's that company that does that? What is it called?
Which one?
Food something fresh. I can't remember. HelloFresh.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we need to do a Mexican version of that.
Yes, exactly. See,
how would you do that? Hola fresco. Hola fresco.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you'll start with, okay, I'll sell one salsa. Since I know you taught us in episode 1 and Norma as well that you could freeze everything, which we'll get to that. And again, guys, if you haven't watched, you'll have, in order to watch this, you have to watch the first one, because then a lot of it will make sense. All my references, Sonia's references, and the conversation, the dialogue, and the years of friendship and beautiful, as Norma says, you're like her daughter. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your food. Please consider everything that we just discussed. If you're not already. Guys, this is Reorg Chats. This will actually be the first episode in 2021.
Cool.
First one.
Awesome. Thank you. That's awesome.
Be the first. All right. Awesome. Stay safe, guys. Stay strong. And most importantly, stay organized. Buenas noches. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.